I can take care of him, okay? Let me take care of him until he's better.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 saddest shameless moments.
What did you think was gonna happen, Fiona?
Thought it might be different this time.
Well, how'd that Kool-Aid taste going down?
For this list, we'll be looking at the most heartbreaking moments surrounding the Gallagher family over the show's 11 seasons. Because some of these moments will reveal significant plot points, a spoiler alert is in effect. Let us know which of these moments hit you the hardest in the comments below. Number 20, Bianca dies. Frank Gallagher has always lived his life in a, how should we put this, carefree way. So when he meets Dr. Bianca, who only has 5 months to live, the unlikely duo hits it off.
Every day's an opportunity you don't get back, so don't blow it working.
God, where were you with all that Carpe Diem crap when I was in my 20s?
This seat, mostly.
Bianca tells Frank that she wants to get a little wild before her time is done, so she enlists the Gallagher patriarch to help her complete her bucket list.
I thought we were on the same page. Since I'm dying and you're an aging alcoholic with no purpose, no offense, I thought that we both wanted to be doing something crazy when we go.
Instead of waiting out her illness, she decides to go out on her own terms by walking out into the ocean during a trip with Frank to Costa Rica. We can't help but feel terrible for a confused and grieving Frank when he wakes up the next morning to find that she's gone.
Bianca!
Number 19, Fiona leaves.
When would you leave?
Now. Soon. Before I chicken out.
Fiona Gallagher has her fair share of ups and downs throughout the series, but we saw her at one of her lowest points at the end of season 9. After discovering her boyfriend is married with a child and falling on some hard times financially, Fiona spirals into heavy drinking. She decides it's time for her to leave the South Side for good, but before she does, Frank finally acknowledges what an important role she played in the family's life.
You did a good job. Monica wasn't up to it. You stepped in and helped. Thanks.
There was not a dry eye in the house as we watched her board a plane for the first time, and when Ian sees it. Anyone else blinded by their tears? Number 18, Mickey learns Ian is joining the army. Ian and Mickey, more fondly known through the ship name of Gallagher, have won over fans' hearts for more than a decade. Still, the couple had their fair share of tough moments. One of the worst came during the season 3 finale.
Leaving town.
There a queer rights rally somewhere?
Army.
Ah, right. You gotta be 18.
Yeah, I figured a way around that.
Pretending to be Lip, Ian enlists, signing up for a minimum of 4 years away. This news obviously leaves Mickey heartbroken, and he begs for Ian to stay.
Don't.
Don't what?
Just.
It's one of the first times that Mickey really outwardly demonstrates how much he loves him, and seeing these two so emotional about parting ways was incredibly difficult to watch. Luckily, this separation was only temporary.
I love you.
I know. Love you too.
Number 17, Fiona and Frank fight over Monica's legacy. Frank and Fiona have never seen eye to eye on much, and especially not on the subject of Monica. Following the Gallagher matriarch's death, their raw emotions come out in an epic clash of conflicting feelings.
She was never here!
She was a beautiful, crazy, fragile, wonderful woman.
She deserted us.
She loved us.
That was love?
Yes, it is.
Okay, then why did she leave?
You don't know what you're talking
If she
about.
loved us so much, why wasn't she here?
For Frank, Monica was his great love and ultimate partner in crime. For Fiona, she simply represents the loss of her own innocence and the stone that has weighed down her entire life.
She left! I was 9! 9! And taking care of you. Taking care of all of us.
As awful as Frank is, it's still hard to see him so clearly broken over Monica's passing. But on the other hand, it's impossible not to feel for Fiona, whose complicated feelings about her mother are inextricably linked to decades of pain and anger.
I'm glad she's dead.
Number 16, good job, Fiona.
Who the hell is that?
My dad.
Arguably, one of the best episodes of this iconic show is the series' first, as we get introduced to this chaotic but lovable family. Frank kicks off the episode by introducing his offspring, and by the end of the episode, we see Frank and Fiona fall into their habitual roles. Frank is drunkenly passed out on the ground, while Fiona goes through a whole spectrum of emotions as she deals with him and the burden of taking on his job as a parent to her siblings.
Get up. Dad, get up.
The way she completely loses it before swallowing it all back feels so real and raw. She gives herself praise on his behalf, and tragically, this is an exchange we wouldn't get to see for real until nearly a decade later.
Good job, Fiona. I don't know how I could do this without you. Thanks for all your hard work. You're welcome, Dad.
Number 15, Frank tells Fiona about Sean. Over the course of the show, we see Fiona struggle with romantic relationships, so we were thrilled when she and Sean decided to get hitched. If anyone deserved a happily ever after, it was her.
No, don't put it on your left hand yet, that's bad luck.
While Sean was a bit rough around the edges, he was a great match for Fiona, which is what made the subsequent events so disheartening. Sean struggled with substance use disorder in the past, and right before their wedding, Frank reveals that Sean relapsed.
I went by your business last night late when nobody's there, and I found some things. Maybe we should go back there, you and your bride-to-be, and show her the little box you hide under the invoices, the bottom drawer of the filing cabinet.
Not only is Fiona heartbroken by this, but Sean's son Will is also visibly devastated. The two ultimately break up, only adding to an ever-growing list of sorrow.
Fiona.
Take care of yourself, okay?
Number 14, Ian's depressive episodes. Shameless did a good job of showing many different struggles faced by people every day, and Ian's battle with mental illness was no exception.
Ian, are you high? You take something? Okay, you want me to call the club at least and tell them?
Jesus, leave me alone!
After Lip and Debbie see their brother working at a bar, they find his behaviour to be totally out of the ordinary. In the episodes that follow, we see Mickey try to help Ian as he goes from being recklessly excitable to depressed and bedridden.
You know what this is?
Yeah. We know what this is.
Fiona tells a distressed Mickey that Ian may need help, as she suspects that he may have bipolar disorder. It's certainly something that takes a toll on Ian's loved ones, perhaps Mickey most of all.
You're sick. You need help. I gotta take you to a hospital, Ian.
Number 13, Ian tries to get Mickey to talk.
That's it. We're over. Your dad beats the shit out of us, and just gonna get married, no conversation, nothing.
As many of you have noticed by this point in the list, a lot of the saddest moments in this show involve Gallagher. They're put through so much. In the episode Frank the Plumber, Ian confronts Mickey about his sham marriage.
So, who is it? Is it, Angie Zago or some other piece of trash you screw so you can pretend I don't matter to you?
What makes this scene so devastating is that they're both struggling with the marriage in different ways. Mickey is clearly torn because his homophobic father forced him into this lifestyle. Meanwhile, Ian is crestfallen that he's lost the person he cares about most, and more than that, he has to watch him live a life that he doesn't want.
You love me. But you're gay.
Just admit it. Just this once.
Number 12, Carl finds out what Nick has done.
Couple more gigs, I'm out.
Damn. You got a plan? Farmer.
After Carl is released from juvie, fellow inmate Nick tags along. He tells Carl that he was only really happy when riding his bike as a child, since it was an escape from his difficult home life.
They locked me up for what I did to them. When I'm inside, they ask me, "You homesick?" I say no. I just want my bike.
Knowing this, it isn't much of a surprise when Nick buys an identical bike to the one from his youth. What does come as a surprise is that the bike goes missing. While Nick still manages to find it again, the consequences for the young boy who ended up in possession of the bike are horrifying. A bloodied hammer and chilling screams are all the details we need.
Call the cops. You better split.
Why?
Number 11, Fiona confronts Monica.
You could have gotten Carl killed. You tried to get Ian into the army? You promised me.
When Monica reappears into her kids' lives in season 2, Fiona is fooled into believing that her mother has become a better person. This leads her to be a little too trusting, and Monica takes advantage of this by stealing a pool of money the kids have been saving up.
The first rule you learn in this house, you hide the goddamn money.
She seemed better.
A tearful Fiona would later berate her mother, to no avail, of course. While this wasn't Fiona and Monica's first or most infamous confrontation, it definitely still left its mark thanks to Emmy Rossum's outstanding performance. Number 10, Ian confronts Mickey at his wedding. As we've discussed, Ian and Mickey pursued a relationship in secret, but they were discovered by Mickey's father, and Mickey was forced to marry Svetlana. But Ian wasn't going to give up on him without a fight.
Call me a punk for wanting a boyfriend or whatever, but you're gonna marry someone who screws guys for a living?
The journey to Mickey's acceptance of his feelings for the young Gallagher was a long one, with Ian having to confront him more than once. But this scene, right before he gets married, is highlighted supremely by Cameron Monaghan, as Ian begs Mickey not to go through with it. Number 9, Carl tries to heal Frank.
Cancer? How did I get cancer?
By the time we've caught up with the Gallagher family at the start of the show, most members of the clan had already learned the hard way how terrible their father was. But for the younger ones, it took a bit more time. In one of his more despicable schemes, Frank told Carl that he had cancer in order to scam a charity foundation. He even shaved his son's head.
That's going on all day, every day. My son is suffering. Have you no soul?
If you fill out an application now, I can almost guarantee that for next year...
He doesn't have a year.
But when Frank ended up in hospital from alcohol use, Carl did the shaving as a way to help cure his father.
What's going on?
Shaving your head.
What?
It's what the sun rays in, so they can heal you. Like they did with my cancer.
Carl may not be exactly the sweetest of the Gallagher kids, but seeing him do what little he could to help his dying father showed a much softer side to him. Number 8, Ian and Mickey break up. Considering this couple had been through so much together, we couldn't help but assume that they would withstand anything. Sadly, that wasn't the case here.
You used to love me. Now you don't even know who I am. Shit, I don't know who I am half the time.
After disappearing for some time with his mother, Ian returned to break things off with Mickey. He believed that his bipolar condition was too much for Mickey to handle, and thought it was best to end things then and there.
I love you.
The hell does that even mean?
It means we take care of each other.
The heartbreak on actor Noel Fisher's face is so real. That being said, the sadness may have been slightly undermined by Sammy's interruption. At least we know that this wasn't really the end.
Mickey! Mickey!
Holy shit. Is that Sammy?
Number 7, Frank thinks Emily is Fiona. It isn't too often that audiences feel bad for the Gallagher patriarch, given how despicable his behaviour normally is, but this episode showed a different aspect of the character.
Let's be quiet so we don't wake up Monica.
Monica?
I'm sorry we left you and your brother in Washington Park last night.
During a hospital stint where he acquired a new liver, Frank's medication made him mistake the young Emily for his daughter Fiona. It's a touching moment, as this connection isn't something we normally see with his actual daughter.
I want to be a better dad.
It's okay.
You mad at me?
No.
Given that Emily's father had recently abandoned her, it made the whole thing all the more tragic.
I'm glad you're here with me, Fiona.
Me too, Daddy.
The real gut punch though, when this sweet little Emily doesn't make it and Frank thinks he's watching his actual daughter pass.
No!
Fiona.
Number 6, Ian says goodbye to his family. Ian Gallagher has always been one of the more complex and beloved characters on the show.
My God is trans, a junkie, a whore! We will not be victims.
So, saying goodbye to him, as well as Cameron Monaghan, was always going to be tough. After an act of vandalism resulted in a van exploding in season 8, Ian pleaded not guilty due to insanity. Regardless, he would still end up having to serve some jail time. The blow may have been somewhat softened by Monaghan's announcement that he was leaving the show, but watching a character we had all grown up with over 9 years say goodbye to his family was absolutely crushing.
You can only count on family, dude.
The exchange between Ian and Lip hit us hardest.
Hey, thanks for being my brother. Never had a choice.
Number 5, Frank calls DFS.
Who the hell are you? I'm Brittany Sturgis from Child Protective Services.
Frank has let each one of his children down in various ways, but never quite like his betrayal of Fiona in this season 3 episode.
How did we show up on DFS radar? It was an anonymous phone call, actually.
Wanting revenge on his children for not letting him back into the house, Frank calls Child Protective Services on Fiona, his eldest daughter, who has worked so hard to care for the family. This causes her to have to jump through multiple hoops in order to get them back.
It was a man, actually.
A man? It's never a man. Men don't give a shit.
How is it fair that someone can make one call and completely ruin our lives, and they get to be anonymous?
The moment when she listens to the recorded phone call and hears her father's voice is absolutely heartbreaking. Selfish might be Frank's default, but no one, Fiona included, could have imagined him stooping so low.
They're all criminals, delinquents, vile...
Excuse me,
What?
sir. Could you give me your name, please?
No, if it's all right, I would like to remain anonymous.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention.
No, thank you, and God bless you.
Number 4, Monica dies.
Wakey, wakey.
Mine?
Monica?
Shameless has mastered the art of making the audience feel conflicted about its dishonourable characters, and Monica Gallagher made us all question our feelings more than once. In the final episode of season 7, the family was forced to say goodbye to her after she suffered a cerebral hemorrhage and wouldn't wake up at the hospital.
We made every attempt to revive her, but we were unsuccessful.
So she's dead?
Yes.
Drug overdose?
No, she died from a massive cerebral hemorrhage.
She was far from perfect, but the loss of her was felt by every family member. Fiona's conversation with her troubled father afterwards put words to what we were all feeling. But there's no single moment of grief stemming from this incident that can compare to Frank's reaction to Monica's stillness.
Come on, sweetheart. Come on, open your eyes. Come on!
Number 3, Liam almost dies. When it rains, it pours. After making one terrible decision after another about her boyfriend and boss's brother, Fiona's secrets are found out. And having her new job and relationship tarnished because of it makes her want to blow off steam.
Well, police probably got one thing right, the prick.
Fiona, get your ass in here. I'm gonna show you how to break it down.
Coming.
Oh.
Sadly, the result of the party she throws leaves her wishing she hadn't indulged. Liam, the youngest member of the family, finds drugs.
Fiona! Oh my god.
Seeing his motionless body and look of shock on each character's face is enough to take any viewer's breath away. He's never been the most crucial character to the show, but seeing a child in such a state sent every viewer into panic. Number 2, Monica's attempt. Before her passing, Monica traumatized the entire family at Thanksgiving.
Mommy's not feeling too good right now.
The show would go on to address the topic of mental illness with Ian in a respectable and more appropriate way. But this moment served to showcase one of the darkest events that could come from it.
Get out of there.
Fiona, no, Fiona, no.
Come on now. Come on. Get out of there. Come on.
No.
Come on.
Fiona.
Up you go.
Up you go.
I look a mess.
No, you do not. You look beautiful. Doesn't she look beautiful, kid?
After going off her meds, Monica attempted to take her own life. The previous image of family and friends gathered happily around Thanksgiving dinner was almost serene, and it's this juxtaposition that makes it all the more sad.
There's been an accident.
The sheer terror that comes from this moment, as well as Fiona's mournful state as she wipes up her mother's blood afterwards, was chilling. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Lip tries to adopt Zan. Lip offers Zan's mother money to adopt her, but has a change of heart. Kevin and Veronica separate. V and Kev briefly split because he cares more about the kids than her.
Does it make me a bad person that I'd rather be selling cheap booze to barflies than spend time with my twin spawns of Satan?
Spawns of Satan? Really?
Do you think I'm a bad mother?
Lip visits Ewan's in prison. After he gets a DUI, Lip visits his professor and they discuss alcoholism.
You care about anything.
I chose booze a long time ago. You don't like what you see. Don't look.
Fiona saying goodbye to Jimmy on his voicemail. It's a soft, sad message.
Last message, I promise. Wherever you are. Bye.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Fiona's speech to Monica. Fiona would spend the majority of the show unraveling the destructive actions of her mother, and her confrontation in this moment is one of the most crucial.
You don't get to abandon your kids and then show up one day to take your pick of the litter.
After Monica comes back into their lives to take Liam away and begin anew, Fiona lets all of her pent-up feelings about her mother out.
And you know what? They did it all. No thanks to you, because you weren't here. And I appreciate that, Fiona.
There would be several moments later in the series of aggression and disappointment surrounding Monica, like when she stole the family's squirrel fund. But this scene made us appreciate just how much weight Fiona had to carry. Of course, a scene, no matter how well written, is only as good as the performer, and Emmy Rossum sure delivers.
I'm here now, and Liam belongs with me.
He doesn't even know who you are.
I'm his mother.
You are my mother, too.